Recording has started, and I'm pleased to hand off to Sherry.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this special session today. This is the Fab Academy recitation on the Fab Lab ecosystem. But we're being joined today, or we're actually being hosted today by Fab Month. So this is the Fab Lab. This is a celebration of all the people, the places, and the projects that are done in the Fab Lab network that we're seeing happen in the Fab Lab network. And we have a beautiful month ahead of us. But today we're going to specifically talk about the Fab Lab ecosystem and all the ways that we are trying to reach the potential of what Fab Labs can do for their communities. And so with that, I would just like to give a little bit of background. We have the Fab Foundation team will be presenting, but I just wanted to give a little history. Um, Back in 2009, we were in India at Fab Five, the fifth conference, and one of our team did an absolutely a beautiful video on how do you describe a Fab Lab in 3 minutes. And it was very clear to us once this was over that we really needed to figure out how to better support the network and how to help the network reach its potential. And so, to that end, Stuart Gaines, Neil Gershenfeld, and myself founded the Fab Foundation. We took a year or so to do it, but we founded the Fab Foundation really to support the growth of the global Fab Lab network and to help it realize its potential. And we failed the first few times because we really didn't listen to the network. We were like, oh, well, we know what to do. And the network went, not so much, right? So at any rate, it took us a while to figure out how to support the Fab Lab network, but eventually we got there. And so at this point, it's my great pleasure to introduce Jean-Michel Molenaar and Rodney Williams from the Fab Foundation to talk about this. Oh yeah, Norella, you're going to talk about Fab Month in a minute, right? When you talk, okay, all right, super. So Jean-Michel and Rodney, please take it away, and you do the screen sharing. And I'm going to time you, and I'll give you the 1 minute warning. Okay.
Awesome. Good morning, or I don't know everyone's time zone. Hello, everyone. Hello.
Hey everyone. So I'll just share my screen. And Rodney, you can either take over when you go, or you can tell me to flip to the next slide, whatever you want. So I'm Jean-Michel Molenaar. I'm Dutch originally. I'm currently based in France, but I'm very happy to work for the Fab Foundation. I'm just going to give you a quick overview of the panoply of diverse things that we do. And if you have any questions about some of that or even all of that, these are my and Rodney's email addresses, and please do not hesitate to shoot us an email and ask anything you want to know. So the Fab Foundation, as Lass said, and I'm not going to linger on that, was founded in 2009, and really the goal is to build the infrastructure for grassroots innovation and to democratize access to not only the tools but also the knowledge that allows anyone anywhere to make anything, but then to sort of share that knowledge globally and work together. So we offer different services in design and consultancy and installation of a whole Fab Labs, and we do a lot of like workshops and education and organize different things for the global Fab Lab network. So sometimes misunderstood, and I just want to make sure people understand that we don't have any kind of endowment or any kind of fund. So for now, hopefully in the future that will change. We don't really choose where we can set up Fab Labs, so maybe that can happen in the future. But we do work with all sorts of different organizations to create Fab Labs and create projects. So our team is kind of distributed. Most of us are in the United States, but there's people sort of everywhere, and some of us just do installation and training. But we're really a rather small team for all the things we do. So most of us actually have a lot of different hats. And we really work together as a team to sort of make everything happen. So even if specific people have sort of specific roles, it's most often that we end up helping each other on everything. And I think that's also what makes the Fab Foundation such a fun place to work with. So for those of you who don't know, the logo actually sort of has three, meanings in those three elements. And that's the .edu, the .org, and the .com. So this is an overview of all the stuff we do, right? So we manage the Academy program. So there's the Fab Academy that you are part of, the Fab Academy, but there's many more. And then there's other educational content we develop, and Rodney will dive into that some more. Then there's the organizational part. So we organize the conferences, there's the platform, and we do things like, fiscal sponsorship and working on the network. And then there's the more sort of commercial side of things, which is all the Fab Lab deployments and the consultancy services we offer. So when it comes to the .com, we actually install sort of 4 different kinds of labs, and I'll talk a little bit about a cool micro lab development that we're working on. But we really go from very small setups for, small schools or community centers, all the way to sort of a copy of what Neil has at the Center for Bits and Atoms, which we call the Super Lab, which is a standard Fab Lab that you have to do the Fab Academy, but then we add on advanced metal machining and advanced 3D printing and things like water jet cutting and EDMs, and really create a space that actually allows you to not just use a Fab Lab, but create a Fab Lab. So a Super Lab can build a Fab Lab, and most Fab Labs can build like mini labs or micro labs. So a cool thing that is gonna come out, you can't yet buy it, but soon you will, is this Fab in a Box project. So this is something we do together with Dassault Systems and the Center for Bits and Atoms. And this is really just a mini lab in an enclosed sort of container, which comes with not just the machines, but also with the materials and with the knowledge to do workshops with your community or with your students. So this is really pre-packaged to introduce people to digital fabrication, and really has everything you need to get set up. And then you can fold it back in and put everything back in the box and just wheel it into another classroom. So just to give you a quick overview, we created well over 30 mini labs, 70 Fab Labs, and about 3 super labs, currently working on a new one globally. So we're not everywhere, but we have a pretty decent spread. So when it comes to setup, we really do everything. So we design Fab Labs, we work with Neil to get the inventory right for whatever the location is. And we do all the procurement, all the transport, and then we go on site to do the installation and training. I sometimes do that myself, which I love doing. I was in Ivory Coast not very long ago to set up a lab there. But we have people sort of all over the globe, and we always try to make sure we install and work with the people in their local language, being mindful of the culture and the local sort of environment. So we worked with a lot of different organizations, from big corporates to very small humanitarian organizations, and we set up labs in universities, all sorts of educational contents, but also in refugee camps and even war zones. We also work on the .org side, so there's the regional networks that you'll actually hear about from a few of the people. And we also work on fablabs.io. So we recently, thanks to Peter van der Heijden, actually managed to get all the waiting list of the labs sort of eradicated. So not everybody registers on this, but it's a really good starting point if you land in a country you've never been to find the lab and go and have a cup of coffee. And of course, we do the global conferences. So this is, mainly Norella pulling this, which is an amazing job. And this year we're going to be in Puebla, Mexico. So if you can, please join us August 3rd to 9th. It's always an amazing event. You make a lot of new friends, and it really gives you a good impression of the global network. Next year, we're going to go to the Czech Republic, which is going to be amazing as well. And then we're actually going to go back to Boston, the birthplace of all of this. So just a quick overview of the Academy, which is one of our educational things. And then I'm going to hand it over to my colleague and friend Rodney to dive in more education. Fab Academy, but please also go to academy.org, because there's also the Bio Academy, the Fab Academy, which is an amazing program running for many years now. And recently we added the Fab Learning Academy, which is more for educational professionals, Fab All In, which really talks about equity and equality. And we're working on Fab Futures, which is something that will talk about vocational skills for the future. So AI, precision agriculture, game design, big data, and that sort of stuff. So that's not yet online, but that's going to come soon. So again, any questions about any of this, just send me an email. I'm always happy to talk about this in more depth. And with that, I'll hand it over to Rodney.
Awesome. Can you skip the screen or the slides? Great. I'm Rodney Williams. I know time is of the essence. I'm the program manager for education and outreach. I'm located in Chicago, originally from Ohio. We have several corporate sponsors, and one of our new sponsors is the Caterpillar Foundation. We're working on a project in Dallas and in Perth, which we're on our second cohort there. But educators will be able to do a 3 to 4 day PD, and after that, they'll get a plethora of tools, 3D printer, vinyl cutter, electronics. We're excited about the future of moving that into the Fab in the Box tools so they can actually get that handed off. You can skip to the next screen for me. We also work with the Chevron, the human energy company. So these are all the labs that Chevron has over the last 10 years. They've compiled 20 labs. So they're in K through 12 institutions and in higher education institutions. Two of the newer labs, you can skip to the screen for me. Two of the newer labs are, the one is the Central Coast Mobile Fab Lab. This is in Monterey. This is with Monterey County Office of Education, Hartnell University, and California State Monterey Bay. But they just launched this new lab. It's fantastic for students in rural areas and urban areas to be able to participate and engage with these tools. You can go to the next slide for me. We also have just launched 2 new HBCU labs. HBCU is historically Black college and universities. So this is FAMU, which is in Tallahassee, Florida, and Fort Valley State University. They launched this past month. It was a great experience, but they have full labs and they're open. FAMU is in the College of Education. Fort Valley is at a satellite location for their campus, but it's a great opportunity for the students in the community to utilize the digital fabrication tools. Next slide, please. We've also had our Fab STEM Fellowship. We're on our second cohort. The first 2 fellows, you can see them there, Peter and Nathan. This year we increased the number to 4 fellows. So if you haven't applied next year, please do so. It's a great opportunity. The fellows get $10,000 to utilize for their benefit. They do a podcast and they get to travel to 2 labs, one in the US and one international lab. We've had several host sites this year that have come aboard, so we're excited about that as well. Can you skip the slide? Here is our Scopes DF platform. This is our educational platform. We're looking for educators and folks in the community or the network to add their lessons here and also find lessons. It's a great platform. We push it to educators all over the world. And I see my time's up, but this is a great platform. Please check out Scopes. I believe that's it. So thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you, Jean-Michel and Rodney. Next, we're going to turn to the FABx events and all sorts of other new wonderful things that Norella is going to talk to us about today. So Norella.
Yeah, thank you, Sherry. And thank you all. As Sherry mentioned, I work for the Fab Foundation. My name is Norella Coronell. I'm based in Colombia, Latin America. And I'm here today to present to you a little bit about what FABx is and the new upcoming things. So basically, FABx has been the biggest event of the Fab Lab Network. It started in 2004, and it has grew to this annual gathering of more than 1,200 participants from 55 countries. So it's the place to go where you want to meet people from the network. And this event is normally co-hosted by Fab Foundation, the Center for Grids and Atoms at MIT, and a local host that changes every year. And it's where most of the participants here are from Fab Academy will host their graduation this year, or any of the educational programs. So this event it has gone over 19 years now. So this year is the 20th edition of the Fab Lab Conference, and this has hosted more than 16,000 participants and 300 international keynote speakers. Our past editions basically have been in Bhutan. We have gone online. We have gone through pandemic. We went to Egypt. And next year, we'll be in Mexico for sure. But if you are interested in actually pitching for Fab 27, it's an open pitch. Any Fab Lab can pitch. And this year, we're going to gather it here. If you are interested at Fab events at fabfoundation.org, you can just send us an email and we will send you more information on how to pitch for Fab 27. And the reason is because this year, Fab 2024, we're going to Mexico. As Jean-Michel mentioned, also, we are going to the Czech Republic in 2025 and in Boston to 2026. So we're missing someone to host it for 2027. So if you are interested, or your lab is interested, or your city is interested, I think this is a great opportunity. And with that, I'm going to give it to Alberto, who's going to mention a little bit more about what the 20th edition of the Fab Lab Conference it's going to be about this year in Puebla and Mexico. Beto?
Hello, everyone. How's it going?
Good.
Well, the main theme for here in Puebla is going to be about the fabricating equity. Could you get? Thank you very much. We truly believe that the gap in social, economic, and educational themes can be covered with technological and this kind of educational tools like Fab Labs. Next one, please. So we organized this event with 5 pillars in mind. Technology 5.0, which goes more into people more than machines. Future-proof skills, which is how to integrate this kind of technology like digital fabrication, like artificial intelligence, into education programs. Cultural equity goes around how to modernize the ancient techniques. Like we have a lot of that here in Mexico with ceramics, with textiles, and I think it's a very, very interesting opportunity to share that with all the community. Also, the 4th pillar is about the community innovation impact, which goes how these Fab Labs can impact in the communities they're into, right? And innovative industries are the ones that are helping us shape the future, like even through education, through this kind of programs, Fab Labs also. Thank you very much. Next one. The venue is the main venue is going to be inside of the University Iberoamericana of Puebla. It's a Jesuit university. It's going to be inside IDIT. It's the Institute for Design and Innovative, and what is it? Institute for Design and Technological Innovation, sorry, which is 12,000 square meters of playground with tools of digital fabrication, workshops, and all that. And we also have the Fab City Challenge, which is going to go all around Mexico. In the north, in Monterrey, we have Guanajuato, we have in the south with Chiapas in the jungle. It's going to be a very, very interesting experience. And a lot of stuff is going to happen here in Puebla, because we have also different kind of events inside of the FABx. Next one, please. We can check here the program. The Fab City Challenge is going to start on the 26th, and it's going to go all the way through the 4th of August. The 3 and 4 of August is going to happen this Fab Festival. It's going to be an open event. It's going to be amazing in the Pyramid of Cholula. We also have, well, the conference starts on the 5th. We have conference all day. We have the graduation on the first day of conferences. We also have this very interesting approach, which is called Arte Fab, which is an artistic exposition of pieces made through digital fabrication or digital means. And we also have the Beyond Fashion Runway, which is a fashion runway also done with biomaterials and all the cool stuff people do around the world community.
Thank you, Beto. And with that, I want to introduce you to new online event formats. That this is basically what we're trying to do today with the recitation included as part of FAB Month. And very quickly, because I know we're running out of time, this is basically the lineup. This is where we are today in April 15, and we're still missing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more sessions to go. So if you are interested in Scopes DF, educational Fab Care that we will hear a little bit today, but maybe we can extend by the end of the week, the SDG goals, global kits, the education, recitation, and learning more about what the Fab Foundation has accomplished during this 15 years, join us in any of these sessions. You can learn more at basically this link here, basically blog Fab Month. And if you are interested in joining us for Fab 24, and if you are part of any of the Academy programs, just graduate. That's the only prerequisite. And if you are not part of any of the academies, we invite you to join us this summer in Puebla. So that's all from my side. Thank you, Sherry.
Perfect timing. Thank you, Norella. Yes, so please do join us in Mexico and check out our annual report. It is gorgeous. The team did a beautiful job on looking at impact over the last 15 years. Next, we have Kate Armstrong. Now, the network really coalesces, as you probably know, around projects that they are really excited about and believe can have great impact. And Kate is here today. I believe Kate is officially president of the Fab City Foundation at this point. And Kate is going to tell us about the Fab City Initiative.
And I'm under pressure to follow Norella on perfect timing. So let me try and do this really well. I'm going to share my screen and present you my presentation. I think you can see this. So yeah, as Sherry kindly introduced, my name is Kate and I'm based in Indonesia right now, but I'm Australian and I've come via Fab Lab Barcelona. And I work now on the executive board of the Fab City Foundation. And today I want to talk about the Fab City Global Initiative, which includes the foundation. So I will give quite an overview of the moving parts that came about when Neil Gershenfeld, representatives from the Institute of Advanced Architecture of Catalonia, and the mayor of Barcelona basically challenged the city of Barcelona to produce everything it consumes by 2054. So this was in 2014, which means this year we're coming on 10 years of the initiative. And since then, the initiative has grown into something that's quite global and sits really supported by and stewarded by the Fab Foundation and the Fab Lab Network. But it follows one quite clear vision, which is how do we use the logics of the Fab Lab Network, that is distributed infrastructure, to enable a new way of production globally. So we look at our global vision as an organization as product in, moving from product in to trash out, to data in to data out. So this is moving from a linear extractive economy to one that is supported by, as I said, the logics of moving information and having the atoms or the heavy stuff circulate locally. So this is our global vision that we work towards, and we do this through a number of different mechanisms. And the one that I want to highlight as what I would say is our mission, the way we do this, is called the Fab City Full Stack. So this is something that has been developed by the Fab City Foundation. I'll explain the difference between the moving parts in a minute. But this guides the work that we do. So it just shows us and enables us to move through each layer of the city, the neighborhood, all the way up to the bioregional layer and a layer of interconnectedness at the global level. So what we say here is we work from the local to the global. So locally productive, globally connected. And we see this through the lens of the Fab City Full Stack. So when we talk about the Fab City Global Initiative, it comes together in three parts. And this is to enable us to have this global interconnected way of working. So we firstly have a network of cities, regions, and countries, and each one of these has pledged to be part of the network. And basically this happened quite organically after the first pledge started. Other cities thought, this is a great idea, we want to get involved, and organically a network grew, which now sits at 52 cities across the world, and also collects regions and countries, islands, and kingdoms. Secondly, we have the collective. So the collective is a group of self-organized individuals. They may be designers, makers, urbanists, artists, developers. Some of them are in this Zoom call today. And they are the individuals who have helped us to grow this global initiative and to embed the ideas of the Fab City vision, this pedo to dido, into various kinds of activities and various kinds of projects. And finally, we established the foundation. So this is the Fab City Foundation, and that's who I work with in 2018 to be the stewarding organization of this global initiative. And we are really very pleased to have the Fab Foundation represented as one of our founding members. So this is really important to us, that we're very much connected to the vision and work of the Fab Foundation and the Fab Lab Network. So the foundation really is the stewarding organization. So as I said, we have a network. Right now we count 52 members amongst this network. You may be able to well, it's a little bit tricky to see, but you can really see the spread of the network that we have in terms of cities, regions, countries, islands. And as I said, we also have one kingdom, the Kingdom of Bhutan, involved in the network. The aim of the network is that through a pledge and through entering into the network, cities can work together to understand how we can best achieve this global goal of moving towards this DIDO, or data in, data out scenario, in which we reduce the global resource use and the movement of global resources. So this network can be joined, so anybody can actually be a part of helping their city, region, settlement, whatever, join this international group of cities. And to do this, our network manager, who actually comes from Fab City Yucatan, one of our members, basically stewards and helps cities to organize themselves to join a pledge, which happens every year at the Fab City Summit, which I'll talk about. So that's the network. This is something that people can get involved in. If you want more information, you can contact. The next is the collective. As I said, this is really the faces and people behind setting up the Fab City Global Initiative. And these people have worked with us for the last 10 years to put together the ideas and to steward a lot of the academic and research work that has gone on to really build a lot of the publications, a lot of the organization that we've done as a foundation. And then finally, we have the Fab City Foundation. So this is, as I said, who I'm working with. This was established to basically be a stewarding body for the organization. And since it's really also taken on a life of its own, of course, we get excited as makers to do as much as we can. And we have ended up with a real split between some really interesting ways of having the Fab City vision and that methodology of the full stack land in communities all over the world. So we have developed tools, methods, and approaches. So these include, for example, the Fab City white paper, various books, Fab City Hub toolkits, Centennial cartography. We have programs and projects. So we have a Master in Design for Distributed Innovation, the MDDI program, which is available to join for anybody who's interested in that. And then we also have European projects, which we work on, including those around heritage, partnerships between hubs in Africa and Europe, and AI and distributed Web3 technologies. And finally, we have the awards, challenges, and summit. So we mentioned that there will be the event in Puebla in Mexico. The week following, we will have our global event so that people can have one whirlwind trip to Mexico and enjoy both events. That will be the 10th to the 15th of August. And the challenge is also taking place as part of the event in Puebla. So this is the final, just to give you an idea. This summit will happen in Yucatan in August. So I didn't quite get there, but almost. If you have any questions, you're welcome to contact me.
That is awesome. Thank you so much. Now
Sherry.
we're going to move to South America. So one of the things that the Fab Foundation does is we sort of try to help help support regional networks. And there are a couple of regional networks in South America that we're going to hear from Fab Lab and the Brazilian network. And so with that, I'd like to turn it over to Benno, Lucio, Renato, and Kenzo. Benno. Maybe. There he is.
Hello, hello friends. We have a video. Hello,
Yeah.
Cherry. Hello, friends.
Hello.
We have a video, please.
Benno, are you frozen? Are you there? I think
It looks like he's frozen.
he might be frozen. Well, Kenzo, why don't we start with you, and then when Benno is better able to connect, we can.
No problem. Let me share my screen.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, are you guys seeing that?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to present the Brazilian Fab Lab Network. And our status, right now we have 3 coordinators, me, Anthony, and brand new Cleverson, that's substituting Carol. And the idea is every year, one of us is going to be replaced by vote. So this year, Anthony is going to be replaced. And after me is going to be replaced because I'm here from 8 years, right now from 2016 when Sherry came to Brazil. And I want to present Cleverson. He is a Fab manager at the first Fab City in Brazil, the Fab City Curitiba. And he's working on a Fab Lab that's from the municipality. Right now, I think we are the 4th country in numbers of Fab Labs in the world. I got this from Norella can check that for me. And we have 178 Fab Labs. Here's our timeline from 2001 to 2021. You can see the networks from 2016. We had a couple of Fab Labs before that, and I don't have the 2024 numbers. But I wanted to share the 2023. We had a couple of labs, new labs. One is the first mobile Fab Lab in Brazil, that's in FabLabs.io. We had another one that's not in FabLabs.io, this Prompt 3D. It's from Florianópolis, but then we have these ones is from São Caetano do Sul, that's in Brazil, and sorry, near São Paulo. Then we have this Fab Lab, that's Helena Antipov Fab Labs in Minas Gerais. And the interesting thing is they tried to become a Fab Lab from 2 years, and we helped them on the process to become a Fab Lab. And we have a process to certify Fab Labs and to help them in becoming from FabLabs.io. And we have them from 2 years, so they try to become a Fab Lab. And we say, no, you're missing this and missing that, and they become a Fab Lab. And we have a mini Fab Lab that's always interesting also. We have some meetings and events that are always happening. We have a general meeting every month. We have an academic working group every month also. We have once a year a Maker Week in São Paulo. And we have our National Fab Lab event. We are calling FABx, like the Fab event. So also we have resources. We have a Google Drive with all documentation. We have a contact sheet with all our contacts, and like we try to maintain that updated with FabLabs.io. And also we try to ask our Fab Labs to put all the information in FabLabs.io. This is one that I think is interesting, is Fab Maker Living Lab MS in Mato Grosso do Sul. and they put all this description in Portuguese and English, their photos, their employees, and also adding Brazilian machines. So they are helping the network. We have some working groups. So we have, we have Carolina Marini in Fab City. We have Claudia Pafke in academic group, and also in the academic group, I want to point out that we did collaboration with Dorival Rossi from the University of Unesp. Our first book is the Fab Lab, The Future of Digital Manufacturing in Brazil from 2023. And he has another 2 books that are not in collaboration, but mention Fab Labs, one from 2019 and another from 2021. And lastly, but not leastly, we have the network, and we have an institute here in Brazil, and we're trying to connect both. And right now we are going to have, we are creating a new governance to discuss what happened in the network and how we can integrate the institute in the network. So right now we are doing 8 years, as I said, and we are trying to creating this new governance, this way to organize our network. Thank you.
Thank you, Kenzo. It's an inspiration to the rest of us for sure. 178 labs. Wow. I'm really impressed. Well, so we're going to run a video right now from Benno and team at Fab Lab, and then we'll hear from Renato and Lucia. Okay. That's a beautiful video. Lucia and Renato, could you just say a couple of words for us? We've got about a minute.
Yes. Okay, Renato, do you want to start?
No, go.
Go. I'm going to share a little presentation. I don't know if you see.
Yes. We
Okay.
see.
Yeah.
We only have a couple of minutes, so.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Fab Lab is the Fab Lab that is in the Innovation Center in Circular Economy in Madrid. I am Lucia Lucas, the manager. Here is our building. We make a lot of things related to Madrid. Madrid companies and startups. We are an incubator and accelerator of startups, and we are launching now. We started in September, launching this new network, IberoFab network, here in Península Ibérica. We work with Spanish Fab Labs, but also with Portuguese Fab Labs. So if here if we have people from Portugal, yes, it would be great if you join us. And for now, IberoFab network is a network that is mostly a professional network. We want to share knowledge, collaborate, yes, to have a very positive social impact. We want to articulate professional projects, also generate employment. Also, we want to, yes, to help businesses with their challenges. So we are articulating scholarship programs, awards, training, contracting services of the people that join the Fab Lab network to help these companies to solve their problems. And also we want to facilitate access to talent in the network for companies. Our structure is yes, very soft, flexible, light, transparent, collaborative, etc. And now we have in the network 20 Fab Labs, almost them Spanish. We are working very closely with 3 universities, very big universities here, and companies, 2 big companies here. One is a construction company, and the other is a company that is dedicated to the this implementation of businesses. It means the construction of businesses. And also we have many startups that they are starting participating in this network. We have had until now like 70 startups working in the center. And our first project was the first Ibero-American meeting of Fab Labs that Renato is going to tell you more about it. And we have had a great impact that Renato, I suppose that it's going to give more details, because it has been an incredible experience with more than 3,000 participants. And next steps that we are going to do, we want to present a working group for Fab Lab 24 in Puebla. Yes, to be. We want the global network to know us, to make things, professional things, and also we are going to make a WhatsApp group. You will have notices. That's all. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Lucia. And I'm sorry to rush you.
Yeah.
Renato, can you just say a couple of words and then we'll move on?
Yeah, for sure. Thank you very much. I'm very pleased to meet you. My name is Renato Avila. I'm from Fab Lab UTLA at Universidad de las Américas in Quito, Ecuador. And as we saw in the video, on last November, we hosted together with Lucia and Fab CIEC at Madrid this first encounter between the IberoFab and Fab Lab networks. So now that this festival has born, IberoFab Lab Fest, we plan to hold it annually. And in that fashion, I'd like to invite you all, the people who have participated on it, to help us in the writing of a paper that we are planning to present on Fab 24 on Mexico, to show mostly the impact and the results of this gathering that we had. And hopefully I'll see you all there. Sorry.
Thank you so much.
I have no more time.
Lucia, I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
We are going to have to move very quickly. Frosty, we're going to the Nordic Fab Lab Network. Frosty, if you could do it in like 4 minutes, that would be really helpful. Frosty Gislason.
Yes, hello. Thank you very much. I hope you can see my screen. My name is Frosty Gislason. I will tell you a little bit about the Nordic Fab Lab Network. And the original logo that we have, that was made on a napkin on a lunch in Fab 10 in Barcelona, and this image is from Fab Lab Barcelona that I show here that you have often seen. The Nordic Fab Lab Network is this region of Greenland, Faroe Island, Norway, Sweden, Denmark, and Finland, and the Åland Island. And it's a group of people from those labs that the goal is to strengthen the cooperation, the collaboration, and transfer knowledge between the labs, and to improve the quality of the labs and be active members and support each other. Like in all other Fab Lab networks, it's all about people, and every year we meet the Nordic Fab Labs in a boot camp in different areas around the world. And we have very fun people. I'm trying to not to say like crazy people, but there is so crazy people in the Nordic countries. And we were bragging ourselves, the Icelandic Fab Lab network, that we had one lab per 29,000 people living on the country. Then our Jóhannes in the Faroe Island, he bragged about because we have like 13 labs in Iceland, but they have 2 labs in the Faroe Island. So they have like 1 lab per 26,000 inhabitants. So they beat up us in that. And then I also want to tell you, because as you can hear, I don't have any like accent in my English. And for some reason, I was asked, we were on a restaurant, and I asked, and the other Nordic people don't have any accent at all. And I was asking if they had any allergies. And my friend Jani in Finland, he said, I have not allergy. And then I went with him like to the chef and was asking what courses had peanuts in it. And he was asking me, why are you explaining all the courses about peanuts? And then I said, you told me that you have not allergies. No, Frosty, I have not allergies. I told you that. So he doesn't have allergy. So that's a story about that. So we meet every month on like monthly meetings. Beside those meetings, like the boot camp that I told you about, and we have like board members from all the countries in the Nordics. We have like active Discord channel and Facebook groups, and of course our like website. And there's a lot of like sharing information around education in like elementary school level, secondary school level, and again like the Fab Academy is so vital for us. That and we are bringing the knowledge from there to all other school levels in our countries, and we are very thankful for this. And our next Nordic Bootcamp will be held in Denmark in January 2025. And what we can promise you in all our Nordic Bootcamps, you will see snow and you will get cold, and you will have a lot of fun. And you are very welcome to join us. But thank you very much for this.
Oh, Frosty, that was wonderful. Thank you. I visited Frosty back in September, and his lab is beautiful on the Isle of Vestmannaeyjar. But the Iceland, in and of itself, has a network of about, is it 13 labs, Frosty?
Yeah,
It's
13 labs.
and they entirely ring the country. It's like, it's really, really beautiful, and they're doing fantastic work. Thank you so much, Frosty.
Thank you.
Now we'd like to turn to France, to the French Fab Lab Network, and Alexander Rousselet. If you could take over the screen and tell us about your wonderful network.
Yes,
and
thank you very much.
Like five minutes, okay?
Yeah, I will make it straight. Thanks very much for inviting us. We really appreciate that French is in your scope. My name is Alex Rousselet. I'm from France, 30 years old, and most of you know me is because this van traveling in Europe. And I visited more than 600 Fab Labs makerspace and hackerspace this last years. I started being volunteers in the French Fab Lab networks, of course, and I got hired by the French Fab Lab networks in 2021. Long story short, we are networks at a national scale. It's a non-profit organization, associations. This is basically what we do. We bring together the makerspace movements, Fab Labs, and what we call space of makings to be more inclusive. We represent them for the government, but also big companies. We provide support and help them to advise and support them to develop. We analyze, document, and so on. But anyway, as a network, I would say. This is how it looks. In 2015, we were more or less 20 guys gathering together in Paris, and this is how it looks 8 years after, with more than 200 members from all over France. Long story short, we organize every year a national gathering, like Nordic networks. It's in January. For us, it's in October. For the German, it's in November. Us, we call it Oktobermek, and it's growing and growing every year. We have 5 types of members. Fab Labs, first of all, of course, this is the heart of our community. So the spaces, more or less 50% of them are part of the association. Then we have 15% of project of Fab Labs. Then we have Fab managers. We have a group of users and sympathizers. Each of them has different memberships. Then we have a board that is more into the strategy and the direction of the associations. And we have very specific boards where we don't have one president and one treasurer and so on, but each of them has to take a responsibility for the development of the association and at the visionary aspect. So human resources, spoken person, board animations, communication strategy, communication system, regional coordinator. So this is really like kind of a company, I would say. Then we have 2.5 employees, more or less. So we start to have a staff team, which is cool. And we plan to hire 1 new person this year. We have a scientific council, which is about 20 researchers that help us to brainstorm into these associations, let's say, and take a step back sometime. We are really proud of this organization at the regional level now, which is growing and growing and structuring since the COVID, basically. With 15 regions that has a referent, and they have 3 main missions: to observe what's happened at the kind of local level, to communicate from the top and the bottom, and to federate, of course, labs and people. Finally, almost, we have groups thematic because we figure out that each Fab Lab's different, of course. They have different colors and interests. So we try to bring them together from different thematic and topics, from ecology to mobility to international to education to whatever. So it's not about regional cooperation, but more about thematic cooperations. And this allows us to open up cooperation with funding and funders to get money to make it possible when it comes to projects. So I will give you 3-5 examples, and then I will be done. We wrote a book with more or less 8 Fab Labs. We got funding from the Fondation de France about inclusivity. And we gather in this book, which is accessible online also, many open source documentations developed in Fab Labs for inclusivities and disabilities people. Another project is about building furniture based on 3 open source project. It was a 600,000 euros splitted all over France in 34 different Fab Labs, making the same design for school or for a municipality. I will go straight. Another example is about Fab Labs and future of works. We are pretty sure that the jobs of tomorrow are definitely changing. Digital mediations, eco-design, robotic drones, and much more. So we hired, let's say, 8 Fab Labs. We missioned 8 Fab Labs to work on that. So they are pretty good on that type of documentation and education module, but we wanted them to write it down and to put it open source online for other labs to then educate the new generation or the next. Another example is about mobility and the future of the mobility, long story short. So we are partnering with the Ecologic Ministry to prototype and follow up the future of mobility in France with in between bike and cars, what we call intermediate vehicle. And we got 120k euro to engage labs and makerspace to work on that. Another and the last one is the French and German cooperation. And since we talk about network, I wanted to highlight you, Sherry and Neil and the rest of the team, that Germany is really growing up, and we decided to sign up an agreement that engage each other for 3 years mutual development. And we are together fundraising to exchange more and more our members around different projects. All of this is possible because we work on the communication tools, of course, and this is one of the main responsibilities of my daily life, to help Fab Labs and Makerspace to better connect with each other. So we use Nextcloud, Mattermost, Deck, Big Blue Bottom, GitLab, and all of this kind of suites that help them to work together from their different cities. And yeah, this is done for me, I guess, in less than 5 minutes.
Oh, that's terrific. Thank you so much. What beautiful work you're doing, and what an interesting new model for all of us. Thank you so much, Alexander. Now we're going to turn to another one of these beautiful projects around which we as a network coalesce. It's called Fab Care, and Adriana Cabrera is going to talk about their great work. And Adriana, we have 5 minutes.
Oh my goodness, I hope I got the 5 minutes. Okay, I will just share my whole screen. Wait. Sorry. Yeah, thank you so much for this space. My name is Adriana Cabrera, and I am a co-founder with Enrico Bassi with this initiative that is Fab Care. And as Sherry mentioned, like in 2019, after making different projects in the Fab community, that time I was still associated with the Fab Lab Camp Linford and Enrico with the Open Dot lab in Italy. We decided to make something how we could support Fab Labs, how we could really work together, like working locally, but connecting and sharing globally. So with the support with the Fab, with the Open Dot Lab, and also with local initiatives, especially join these events, especially during the Fab conference, we decided to launch the website FABcare.network, in which we are hosting and we are trying to work together to innovate in healthcare and co-design with help of technologies, but especially made for the labs, for the Fab Labs, to think and replicate and co-create tools for healthcare. We in the website we have some tools, but especially we have like kind of a framework in which we want to guide the labs. So in these 3 colors, especially from the very the first steps, but also with some more complex steps. And this is based on the experience we had with Enrico to engage with different kind of groups and how to start to do activities with the labs, but also how, for example, we can engage with international collaborations. So the first step is like kind of a simple steps, how to replicate, so how we could start working with healthcare. And I think that this is something that sometimes also it's a curve of learning, and it's very interesting to see how it works, how we could adapt also in the labs. We have also other kind of advanced steps in this. One of these is, for example, the Fab Academy training that also helps. For example, in my case, when I did the Fab Academy in 2016, I started to engage really deeply, also developing something with technology, but also develop further in other projects that I could collaborate also with enterprises in Germany. And the second is the trainings and courses that we develop also based on the experience we gather in academia, but also with other kind of groups, as for example, with medical trainings and also with hospitals.
1 minute.
Okay, so I just want to say that we have also their tools for that you can explore. And one of the important things that we did in the last time is the Fab challenges. So several of those, like not several, but 2 online, and also especially the two ones in Bali Fest and Bhutan were the really special experiences that we have in the past. So this is the Fab Valley, Fab Fest Valley, in which we have the opportunity to explore locally and help to prototype some of the 1,000 prostatics was the challenge, but also to explore in a level of island and also to work in the framework of Fab City. And the second one is the in Bhutan, the aluminium waste graceful waste, in which we won the challenge. But I think that more than making different prototypes, we develop also a strategy of STEAM education together with ST Lab.
Time's
and
up, Adriana.
Okay, yeah, so just wanted to say that we have here a group of WhatsApp, and also we will extend to more on Friday, and you are welcome to join us.
Yes.
Thank you, Sherry.
Thank you, Adriana. Yes, as she said, they will be back for another hour later this month, or actually later this week, and so will the UN SDG project, as well as Fab Craft. So please come and join us. Thank you, Fab Academy, for letting us bomb your recitation. We really appreciate it. And thank you all for your wonderful presentations and the wonderful work you're doing. Thank you so much. I think that ends our session.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you very much. Takk fyrir. Bless, bless.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.